From BVTV Studios on the campus of Buena Vista University in Storm Lake, Iowa, this is BVTV News.
Hello and welcome to BVTV News. My name is Janet Hintz, and today we'll be looking at the next steps for the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, the Campus Day of Service, the recent storm, and more here on BVTV News. On April 17th, Thursday night into Friday morning, the power went out as the storm ravaged through town in multiple counties in Iowa. Assistant Professor of Music Production Aaron Eastwood talked about his experience.
Last night it was probably about 1:15, and I woke up for some reason, probably just heard the storm going on outside, and the power went off for just less than a minute probably. Came back on. Everything seemed like it was going to be okay. Then the winds picked up. My house actually started shaking. I heard something hitting the outside of the house. It might have been hail. It might have just been really heavy rain. And then a couple minutes after that, the power went off and it did not come back on. Fortunately, there was no serious damage at my house, but I've been driving around town this morning and that does not look like it's been the case everywhere.
No major injuries were reported. However, some of the damage did create debris from the storm. Trees were lost and uprooted, power lines down, and a few buildings were badly damaged, one of which was the Buena Vista County Historical Society Museum. In the recent storm, the roof of the Historical Society Museum building was ripped off, damaging much of the collection on the second floor. Amelia Jacobs brings us more on the subject.
Historical Society of Buena Vista County as BVU students help clean up some of the aftermath of a massive storm in northern Iowa. Damages from the storm from April 17th through 18th left the Historical Society Museum's roof in shambles after a night of lightning, hail, tree damage, and power outages. Lucille Fitzhenry, the establishment's president, spoke on how the damages affected the museum.
But yes, there has been some things that have been destroyed, and it's very heartbreaking to see these soaking wet pieces of paper and stuff carried out to the dumpster. It's like, oh dear, it is. You, once you start working in a place like this, it grows on you, and you actually become a part of it.
The destruction on the second floor was hard on the collection, with cleanup crews of students from BVU on Beautification Day having to throw out many manuscripts and artifacts that were ruined from water, mold, and mildew after the storm. Dixie Bartholomew Feiss, the Dean of Liberal Arts and Supervisor of Students on the project, said,
Right now, all the beavers that are out across town in the university that are engaging in service is absolutely reminiscent of what was done in World War II. If we look at the TAC, which is one of our best sources, it says in service to the nation, in service to the university, on almost every letter home that was written from BV students who went off to war. So this mission of service is a long history with the university as well.
After the loss of a major portion of the second floor, a GoFundMe page has been created in attempts to raise funds to restore the roof and help protect and preserve Buena Vista County history. The Historical Society hopes to recover as much as they can and raise funds to continue operations for years to come. I'm Amelia Jacobs for BVTV News.
The Beautification Day crew helped not only the Historical Society, but also jumped into many other service projects around Storm Lake.
As the end of the semester rolls right around the corner, BVU Beavers are out in the community serving in full force. On April 24th, students began their annual day of service with a send-off by President Lensmeyer, Sammy Kay, and fellow students leading into Beavers spending the day giving back to the community. Sammy Kay, Director of Student and Community Engagement, said,
So today in the GSLC we have our online programs with Imagine the Possibilities. We're making tie blankets that are going to be donated to BVRMC's oncology department. We have meal packaging. We have storm cleanup for the city of Storm Lake. We have a group at the disc golf course cleaning up branches and sticks there. We have people at the bridge, Upper Des Moines, the gingerbread house, the historical museum. The golf courses, highway cleanup. I mean, there's people even cleaning some of the athletic vans. Like, we have people kind of spread out all throughout campus and the Storm Lake community.
Staff, faculty, and students all came together to serve. Even President Lensmeyer worked helping relocate the campus social work donation center, Jane's Closet. Lensmeyer said,
Getting to work with the students and seeing what we accomplish. It's amazing what so many hands on one day can get done. If you'd have told me moving Jane's closet to this house, I'm like, this is going to take days. You can see we're getting it done in one day, which is a lot of fun.
The day not only brings together college and community, but can unify everyone through a shared effort to better people's lives. The Beavers were able to make an impact on the community in true BVU fashion through education for service. I'm Laura McCoy for BVTV News.
As the damage from the storm was quite severe, it may be difficult to rebuild with no insurance money, as the museum has to pick their battles carefully with spending. But in time, the community may bring the building back to life with its long roots of history. Also in history, Phoebe Feist, a contributor to the TAC, has been working to document the stories of fallen World War II veterans that were students at BVU. An accumulation of 18 stories Feist has written, a commemoration exhibit is being held in the art gallery on May 8th at 6:30 p.m., remembering the legacy of those who died in the service. BVTAC.com is home to those stories of our American troops. And with America divided today, as Jackson Van Pelt titles his article, A Civil War on Civil Discourse. The article discusses the state civil discourse and the role it plays in how people speak to one another. One prominent topic in the current zeitgeist of American culture is legislation on diversity practices. Carter Sawyer brings us through what BVU's CDI, or Center for Diversity and Inclusion, plans to do in its next steps.
New diversity legislation in Iowa is prompting changes across the state's public universities, with private ones likely coming next. House File 854 would require private universities that have the Iowa tuition grant to shut down their diversity, equity, and inclusion offices. Here at BVU, staff and students are already bracing for what could come next. BVU's Center for Diversity and Inclusion has long been a space where students can find support, community, and belonging, but that future may soon be uncertain.
The whole idea of diversity and inclusion, I think when there is a Center for Diversity and Inclusion, it creates an illusion that diversity, equity, and inclusion has to exist in sort of a silo on campus, when really it's all across campus that has that responsibility to ensure that our students feel like they belong here on campus, that they're fitting in, finding their spaces, finding support. And so I do think that the opportunity exists that we can continue to do things. It might look different.
Though nothing is set in stone, administrators are actively exploring how to reframe support services to meet legal requirements while still prioritizing student care.
Our goal is to just remain committed to protecting students' access to funds and federal aid funds, and our mission to support students and ensure their success and to make all students feel welcome and that they belong at BV.
With House File 854 still under consideration, the future of DEI in Iowa's higher education system remains at a standstill. For now, staff and students at BVU and other private universities are stuck playing the waiting game. Reporting for BVTV News, I'm Carter Sawyer.
The future may be uncertain, but BVU has plans in place if House File 854 comes to pass. After 27 years of working at BVU, Dr. Anna Maria Formichella had a retirement party in the Fireside Lounge on April 25th, celebrating her final year as Professor of English at BVU. BVU is also honoring its professors with the nominees for the With Award, a BVU award for outstanding faculty that awards the recipient with a sabbatical and $30,000 for faculty development. This year's nominees include Dr. Jesse Bibler, Assistant Professor of Physical Education, Jennifer Hecht, Associate Professor of Accounting, Marion Reiner, Program Director and Associate Professor of Social Work, and Dr. Sarah Slickley, Assistant Professor of Biomedical Science. BVU recently had their yearly Artist in Residence from late March to early April.
Traveling all the way from Portland, Oregon, BVU's Artist in Residence, Ruth Shively, stayed on campus for 2 weeks. Stationed in an on-site studio in the BVU Art Gallery, she has worked on drawings, paintings, and been to classes with students. BVU Professor of Art, Mary Melanie, talked about the benefits of having Shively on campus.
So we actually purchased 2 of her drawings. The 2 pieces of Ruth that we purchased, both of us loved so much that we were being kind of, what's the word? We weren't willing to share the work. So we had one of the pieces in the space outside of our offices and another one in the hallway. So we saw them all the time. So of course it's just like, what about Ruth? You know, so we started looking as far as where she was and things like that. And you know, we had her along with a couple other artists that we were interested in bringing in. But it just lo and behold worked out that she was willing and able during the time that we had.
Shively was able to inform students about the benefits of being a freelance artist, working with creative freedoms and exploring techniques while still generating a viable income.
It's been really inspiring, I would say. I'm really impressed with the whole student body, with the art students. They seem really confident. They know what they like and don't like, and it's been really nice for me. I haven't spent time as a instructor or, you know, in this role before, so it's been really fun.
With a freelance artist on campus, students were given the opportunity to talk about art, innovation, and imagination. For BVTV News, I'm Carter Sawyer.
With a successful visit from Shively, the School of Liberal Arts hopes to continue the program and invite another resident artist in the coming year. April 13th, 16th, and 25th, BVU's choir concert, jazz band, and rock ensemble performed in Shaler Chapel for their spring concert. The concert band and choir performed first on the 13th, jazz band performed with other members of the community on the 16th, and 2 rock ensemble groups performed on the 25th with flashing lights to accompany their final song. April 10th was Wines of the World, where BVU seniors were invited to taste samples of fine wines in the multi-purpose room. Students were treated to a selection of 6 different wines, picked and served by staff and faculty. A portion of the night was dedicated to wine etiquette. Professor of Digital Media Andrea France demonstrated how to properly hold a wine glass, described the taste of wine, and which glasses were used for various palates. April 26th, the campus celebrated the weekend before finals with Block Party, the annual event held by SAB, the Student Activity Board, where students were able to grab a t-shirt, play on inflatables, have a dance party, and de-stress before finals week. The campus newspaper, The Tag, had its magazine launch party in the Underground on April 11th, releasing the magazine to the public with copies spread out across campus and available for pickup. That's all for today on BVTV News. Thank you for watching and see you next time on BVTV News.